All right, take two. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NC State Prague Spring 22 pre-departure orientation session. This is the final session before your departure to Prague in January. And we have here today students from both the Classic program and the GLM program. So you'll get to kind of interact with each other later on in the session. I think you know all of us by now. So we're going to skip introductions, but before we kind of get to the content, just a reminder, a few housekeeping rules. Try to mute yourself if you're not talking so we can lower the background noise. You can use the chat box feature to ask us questions throughout the presentation, but also just know that we'll have time at the end to answer and address any questions you may have as well. So with that, we are recording, as you can see, and we'll send this out to you afterwards as well. So we'll jump right into the content here. All right, so before we kind of get into the travel logistics, I just want to mention a few reminders of things to do if you haven't already. So the first is just be sure to go into your Pack Abroad applications and go and complete what's called the post-decision items. So you have a few questionnaires, a few materials that are post-decision, things like your emergency contact information, your health history, signing up for Alert Traveler, as well as providing your arrival flight information, things like that. So if you haven't done those already, please be sure to do those right away. It's helpful information for us that we will need from you. The second thing is there is what's called that hold harmless special agreement form, which you should have received an email about a little while ago from the Study Abroad office. So that contained a form that basically required you to read and agree to it. So if you haven't done that yet, please get that over to the Study Abroad office. Just email that over to them. You don't need to come into the office physically, just email it to them. Just take care of that, please. Third thing is you should all have the enrollment should all be finalized. So your course enrollment for the spring, we were dealing with some issues earlier, but that should all be resolved at this point. So thank you for your patience on that. If you notice anything weird, of course, just let us know. And please don't make any changes without talking to us first and getting that permission, because everything is pretty much set at this point, and that would disrupt some preparations. So just let us know if you have any questions or any concerns on the enrollment side, but that should be resolved. Fourth thing is, so you all, as you remember, you're going to be signed up for GeoBlue health insurance for the whole time you're over there, wherever you are in Europe. So my understanding is you should have all by now received an email directly from GeoBlue, which will contain an attachment that you can, your card should be part of that email that you can just print out. So we may still be able to upload these in your Pack Abroad. That's still kind of something we're looking at, but you should all have them directly to you by now. We want you to print those and carry those with you, have those on you. If you haven't received that email, just let us know and kind of see what's going on. The fifth thing is, so Kim will talk in a little bit about some more details about COVID, but of course you would need to get a PCR test prior to your flight, prior to your departure. So no more than 3 days before your flight leaves. Most airlines still require this, and then of course we require it as a program just for safety reasons as well. We realize a lot of you probably aren't on campus, but if you happen to be back near or on campus around departure time, the campus testing clinics will resume normal operating hours on January 7th. So all the locations, the normal hours will resume on the 7th. So if you're here near campus and that's convenient for you, you can make use of those services. But if not, if you're back home, then you can just find your local PCR testing facility, I'm sure. So, and if you have trouble with finding those or have any questions, just let us know. The sixth and final thing, we do have an arrival form. This is required to enter the Czech Republic. So there's a link on this slide here that you would need to basically go in and enter your information. There's fields where you would just enter in online, and then just you need to do that so that you can arrive in Czech Republic and they have the information they need from you. There is a spot where you will need to enter the residence address because they need to know where you're going to be staying for your time in the Czech Republic. And what you see on the slide here, that's how you would enter it. That's the address you need there. Again, we're going to be sending the recording of this out as well as the slides afterwards if you need to reference that. So yeah, so just please get those done if you haven't already. If you have any questions about them, just let us know.
And I'm going to pop in here and let you know a little bit about some COVID updates. So make sure that you're carrying your proof of vaccination with you, which would mean that it's your CDC vaccination card. Once you get here on site, we will take you and get you registered to get you a European, what's called the European COVID Pass. So for the GLM program, you'll be traveling a lot, so this will be very important when you're crossing borders. And of course, for the classic program too, it'll be good for you to have, because at the current time, in order to go to restaurants, museums, and all of these things, you need to show that you're vaccinated. Before, it was if you showed a negative test, you could go to these places, but now many countries are requiring vaccination. And for some of the GLM courses, the countries require vaccination to enter. As for boosters, although boosters are not required, this could change at any time. I mean, there is talk in the United States and also talk in the EU that in order to be considered fully vaccinated, a booster may be necessary. So I would just go ahead and recommend that you get a booster if your vaccination is over 6 months old, because it could happen while you're in the middle of your semester here, that it could be an issue because we're not sure if we could get you a vaccination because of your status here. So if your vaccination is more than 6 months old, we would like to recommend that you get a booster. And so, yeah, because if they do change the rules somehow, then the only way you could prove you're fully vaccinated for the EU pass would be to have the booster. The current COVID conditions, it's getting better here. We had a little surge a couple of weeks ago. Also, some countries closed their borders, but everything seems to be reopening and it seems to be going down again. So we are planning to continue going as planned. GLM students, we do have a couple updates for you, which you'll see on the next slide. But generally speaking, we plan on running the semesters as normal as we can. Of course, we're going to be taking as pretty precautions as we can. But though I just want to remind you that in most places, at least in the Czech Republic, Germany, and Austria, you do need to have the special masks. They're called FF2P or the N95. So you may want to go ahead and purchase some of those before you come, because when you get off the plane, even if your airline doesn't require this type of mask, you will need it at the Prague airport. So you'll need to have those masks. You could, of course, buy them in the Czech Republic as well, but it's also good to have several of them with you so you're prepared when you get on the ground. Next slide, please. As we asked you all to be flexible, for the GLM students, we do have some updates. We will update for this information for you in the porthole. We had a slight problem in Vienna because the university that we were supposed to partner with is now online indefinitely. So we did a little bit of changing around. The dates are basically the same, but now we have a little bit different, and it's kind of an exciting change. So we'll be starting in Prague as expected, and then you'll be going to Reutlingen, Germany, as you expected. But now we're not just doing Vienna, we're doing Munich, which is a big city. It's much actually bigger than Prague and Vienna, so it'll be a good comparison for your study. You'll be going to Munich, and then you'll be going to Innsbruck. And this is part for one portion of the class that deals with sports management. So Innsbruck is actually a perfect location because of the ski industry. It'll be a real complement to your studies. So just so you know, you can keep these dates in mind. We will put these on the porthole for you so you can look at them and plan around. In Innsbruck, it does go till March 9th, but if you look at the actual program schedule, you do have some time off in Innsbruck if you wanted to travel around Austria. So you could go to Vienna at that point and spend a day in Vienna, then come back to take the bus to Prague. So here's an update of the current locations. We're also going to meet with you in January. Anna, we decided, I think, January 4th, correct, to have an initial meeting. Do you remember, Anna?
And no, I don't. Sorry.
Okay, I believe we're going to have an additional meeting with you in January to discuss all of these things with your faculty members. It's either January 4th or 5th, but Debbie will send you a notice about this meeting before you go. We'll give you the final updates. You'll also have a chance to meet all of the faculty associated with the program.
All right, guys, so we will be a little bit talking more specifically about your arrival and what you can expect and how the whole process will look like. So basically, you all are, I suppose, arriving by plane. So we will meet you, some of the staff, it will be probably me or Anna for the GLM program, or maybe some other staff at the airport. So please try to look for us. We are at the terminal that you are arriving. That's why we also need your arrival details that you should all, or some of you should put it in the Pack Abroad portal, and we will check on that because we need to also book your transportation. So after you pick up your luggage, depending on your connection, it may take longer, it may take shorter. You just need to totally go out of that airport zone or airport area, and then you'll find us out there close to the exit. You will check in with the NC State staff member. We are trying to wear a red t-shirt always, and we will also take you to the driver. You can ask some question, if you have, if you need to know then any details before arriving to the dorm. Then you will take the transportation to your dorm directly, where you can meet with or check in with our student housing assistants, as well do the whole check-in procedure with the accommodation actually. So you will receive the card, you will check your room basically, and then you can just start to relax a little bit, unpack and settle in your room. And just, I think after such a long flight, just rest for a little bit. What is quite important is we know that flight can change. There might be some delays, especially when you are doing more layovers. So just please keep us notified in case your flights got even canceled, or you have some really delays that the connection doesn't work. Inform us as soon as you can. Usually the best way is the group me, because it's very quick, and we can communicate rather on the fast way. Or you can definitely send us an email, either direct one or use our NC State Prague email address. It's just important for us to keep checking on when you're arriving, so we can be flexible as well with your transportation if there is any need for the change.
I would maybe just add one information that, as Eva said, you have flight details in the Pack Abroad, but this is not true for the GLMs. So I'll be sending a GLM Google form, so you fill out your flight details so we know when to wait for you at the airport.
And once again, you can see and check all of these informations in your student portals. As we are hosting 2 programs, you have 2 separate portals. This is the address for it, but I'm sure all of you already visited at least once or twice. Definitely keep checking it for details regarding your stay in Prague, as well as we are repeating probably any time on these pre-departures, and we will repeat it much more times during the orientation and your time in here. It's really important information for you about also some other activities during the semester. I mentioned a little bit that once you arrive at the residence, you will do the process and get a card from the reception there. We will let you sign some handover protocols. It's more about checking that the room is in a good state, and we will want the room to be in the same state when you're leaving as well. So it's very important for you to check everything with our assistants. What you can expect also, you'll receive a student guide from us with some general information and rules and where to go for shopping and so on. You will get a little map of card as well as the travel pass. This travel pass is valid for the whole Prague. Basically, you can use it not only for the trams, buses, metros, but also for some trains that are running in Prague. So it's a good way how to get to know Prague as well through the very efficient system of transportation, I would say. Yeah, and I think that's basically for the few, let's say, hours after your arrival. We will also give you a bit more details about the orientation. You will receive the whole schedule of what's going on for the few days during the orientation. it works for both program, basically Classic as well as the GLM. There will be also an information about testing, COVID testing, as we will do it after your arrival at the dorm, just so we're sure that, you know, none of you is actually positive. We have to be very safe at this point. And yeah, so that will come probably the day after your arrival. But as I said, we're figuring out the details and we'll give you the most recent updates closer to the arrival day. And I would like to use this opportunity also to introduce you to our student housing assistants. They'll be living at the dorm with you the next semester. Maybe guys, if you can say a little bit about you, how long you're with us, what are you studying, some hobbies, and maybe, I don't know, your favorite or like the destination of your travels you would like to go. Honza, can you start? Because I see that you're very excited.
Yes, I can start. Okay, my name is Honza. As you can see, I can have two names, but we might get into it once you are here. But I'm a philosophy major. I like to play basketball. I don't know. I like to read. I like to play video games. And what is that destination? Pro Japan. I'd like to visit Japan for some reason. Yeah.
And maybe what are you studying?
I think I
sorry.
said it, but philosophy. I'm a major of philosophy.
Sorry, my bad. All right, and Emma?
Hi, my name is Emma, and I'm studying international business at University of Economics and Business in Prague. I've been with NC State actually 1 year now, so you're gonna be my third semester. I don't know. What is my favorite destination? I can't really tell because I enjoy traveling in general, but yeah, Europe is very nice. So basically anywhere, but like a specific country would be probably Singapore. I would love to visit Singapore. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else.
I think that's fine. Thank you, guys. So as I was sending already the housing assignments, and Anna was sending it for the Global Minors program. So you already know that Honza is living in the first floor in room 101, and Emma is staying at the third floor in room 301. You know, they'll be kind of your contact basically for the whole dorm. So in case, not only related to the one specific floor, that's what I want to say. So in case like you need, you know, just to hang out, ask about, you know, their studies or whatever, they're there to kind of be your connection with the Czech student world, I would say, as they are still studying and they are part of that. All right. And now Anna will take over to, okay. So I still continue for the tips and tricks and app, and then Anna will kind of tell you a little bit more. We gathered a few tips about the traveling for you. So maybe it's like a checklist. We think it's just like, you know, nice, and maybe we will save you a bit of some hassle or issues later on in the process. Definitely what's the probably most important now at this point is don't forget your face mask. Definitely have some extra ones, not only in your carry-on luggage, but also in your big luggage, as you cannot have enough of those. Definitely you can buy them in Prague as well, but as Kim mentioned, like we here in the Czech Republic and in most European Union, we require a special type. So the faith cloth is not just enough, or the textile cloth. So please just don't forget that and bring extra masks. Also, what's very useful is wet wipes and hand sanitizer, because you are in a plane, in the airport. Sometimes you don't have enough time to just, you know, go to the bathroom to not only refresh yourself, but also wash your hands. And, you know, that hygiene and basically safety is now the most important thing. So I would definitely recommend you take those. Use a luggage tag that you can easily recognize. Sometimes there might be similar suitcases, you know, while you're traveling from the other passengers. So maybe a luggage tag. And we provided you with some NC State, Prague, the Reg 1 luggage tags. You can use those or any else that you like, but it might be just a good recognition for you to find easily your luggage. You definitely should know where you are picking up your checked-in luggage. As you have more connection, it's possible that, you know, somewhere you will need to check it out and check it in again. For most of the time, I think if you're flying directly from US, even through multiple cities to Prague, the luggage would basically just like travel with you and you don't have to carry about it, you don't have to worry about it. But just make sure that you know, like if there is any extra steps that you need to take. What is as well useful is bring empty water bottle. You will not only use it here in Prague later on, but as you cannot have any liquids or more than 100 milliliter liquids with you on a plane, this might be an easy way how to go through check-in and then like just put some water in your empty bottle and have some drink on the plane as well. Don't forget your chargers and your headphones and any kind of part of the electronics that you need and you want to use during your stay here. Again, multiple things are very easy to buy as in here as well, but you might have, you know, your favorite ones, and also it might be cheaper for you to get it from home and not buy it while here. Bring some healthy snacks. If you have something specific that you really like, you can bring it with you already in your bigger luggage, just because it's quite expensive to have stuff sent via mail from US to the Czech Republic or to European Union in general. So you can just think of that and not only bring it for your stay in Prague, but also for the way, because you might just need, you know, a little like cracker or a little snack if you are traveling long time. So this might be useful to have some snacks with you. Definitely for the way, dress comfortably. You'll be spending multiple hours waiting in the airports and in the plane. So you should wear something that you feel good, you can sleep in, and you're, you know, not warm, not cold, kind of think about it. And kind of also wear multiple layers, because it's just very easy to take off, you know, like one sweatshirt and have another t-shirt under it, then like have one heavy sweater that you're either too cold or like you're very warm, or then you're freezing because you don't have anything under. Bring some scarf or sweater. It might be, as we said last time, I think it might be very cold when you're coming, even snow and below 0 Celsius temperatures. And you might just, you know, experience some of that weather, but later on towards the end of the semester, it might get quite warm as well. So as we said, the layers are the best because you can reuse basically the clothes the whole semester. And what's maybe the most important thing, never leave your luggage unattended. Not only just the luggage, but your backpack, anything that's yours. Always make sure that you know where it is located, that, you know, you're not just going to the bathroom or even just wash your hands and you don't have it with you, because it might get stolen on the way and it might be unnecessary issues for you to deal with.
So I'm going to be talking about some apps that you may use while in Prague. So the first one is, I bet you all know Google Maps, but one feature that you may not know is that you can download offline maps, because I'm sure that all of you have data while in the US, but sometimes when you get here, before you get a SIM card, it's better to have an offline map so you don't you don't get lost. So there's an option to download an offline map, which you can use, and you can save your key locations there. So you can save where the center is, where you will be living. And then you can use it also for public transportation, which is a good thing because it also counts with how far you can walk to get to a certain tram stop and stuff like that. But it's not available offline yet. So you just look up the connection while you're on some Wi-Fi and then go there. Doshi? Okay. The next app is called Pubtran, means public transportation. It's a better app to use than Google Maps because it's focusing only on the public transportation connections. You just type in the station you're at or like your location, and it tells you the nearest stop and where you want to go, and it tells you which number of tram to take, even counts with buses and trains, which for all of these, your transportation pass in Prague is valid for. It also shows you how full the metro is, for example, so where to find an empty seat to sit. It works with the street names as well, not just stops. And it works offline, not like Google Maps. And it works for Androids and Apple App Store. The next app is Duolingo, which I think you all know too, but it's the best way to learn a language, even though you may have some class here. The classic program has the intensive Czech class, and the GLMs, you have a Czech class during the orientation. But this is a way to practice your Czech or German or other languages while you're here, not just one class at the beginning of the semester. It's free and it's fun to do. It's like a game to play while you're in a tram, for example. Yeah, and then we have a language practice where we want to teach you how to say a few things in Czech. So what's the procedure here?
So Emma and Honza, can you just demonstrate? They'll already like read it in Czech. You have some transcription, how to pronounce it in English, but also like we'll say what it is in English.
Okay, so let's start with ahoy.
Hello.
Then there's ciao, which is less formal.
Hi.
Then dobrý den, which is formal way to say hi.
Good day.
Then nashledanou.
Goodbye.
Then děkuji or díky.
Thank you. Thanks.
Prosím.
Please.
Ano.
Yes.
Ne.
No.
Co je to?
What is it?
Mluvíte anglicky?
Do you speak English?
Nemluvím česky.
I don't speak Czech.
Cool. So these are, I think, very important sentences, guys. So at least if you manage to learn those, I'm 100% sure that it can help you out through your stay in Czech Republic.
And then the last app we recommend you is the Google Translate, which also has a cool feature to use, and that's live translation. So if you're somewhere, for example, in a restaurant and don't understand the menu, you just point your camera, because there's a icon of a camera, and you press it and point the camera on the menu, and it live translates what's written there. So it's very helpful for all different kinds of things, and it's available to use without data, but you have to have the language downloaded in order for it to function without data. And we have a cool thing for you to do. So if you can open your Google Translate app and try it with the next sentence we have. And some of us can unmute yourself and tell us what's written there.
So we can see the practice that it's actually working. Yeah, just don't be shy and unmute yourself, guys, and let us know what's written in here.
Hi, I have a question. Do we have to get tested every week once we get on the campus?
Right, we are like a little jumping from topic to topic, but yeah, in the meantime, when you're translating, guys, let's answer those. No, that is not currently the requirement. Basically, those who are, or as you are vaccinated, you don't need to test on campus every week. Okay, so let's wait one more minute. Guys, come on.
It says, see you in Prague in 28 days. We look forward to you.
Yay. Great, good job, Matt. Thank you so much. Yes, so you see it's working, very easy, definitely useful for the menus. Can vouch for that. I was using it a lot, the vice versa. Yeah. So let's continue with the next activity. And I think Alex, if you can present it a little bit.
Sure. All right, guys. So this it's pretty straightforward. It's called Two Truths and a Lie. So just think basically of two things about yourself, just two statements that are true and one that is not. So for instance, like, I've visited Japan, or I can speak 4 languages, and I have climbed Mount Everest. Well, in my case, those are all lies, but just imagine 2 of them being true and one's a lie. So just like that, just simple statements about yourself. The idea is kind of to get to know each other, reveal something about yourself. So you'll think of those things. We'll give you some time to think about 2 things that are true, one that isn't. And then you'll basically reveal these things to the others, and they have to guess which one is not true. So the winner does not get $10,000. So, but it's a little fun activity. I think we're going to break you up into small rooms, right, Eva?
Yes, so you'll be
Okay.
divided into 3 rooms. Basically, it's roughly 10 people. So
Yeah, and try to make it tricky. So, like, I visited Mars is obviously is a lie. So just try to make it kind of difficult for other people to guess. Okay, sound good?
yeah. So guys, we're sending you 2 rooms. So we'll gather back in like 10 to 15 minutes. We'll let you know when we're coming to the end of the time. Definitely, we mix it up the groups. So you can just, enjoy the time together and kind of try to get to know each other. Thing that you want to ask us, or like anything that you have on your heart, we just want to share. And I think said it before as well, but just because your arrival it's much closer and you might need to wonder about more in detail about stuff, what to do in Prague, or like what is necessary to know and so on. Still, we would like to recommend you the Honest Guide channel on the YouTube. This is a Czech guy who's shooting videos mostly for, let's say, tourists, but basically not only tourists, as he wants you to feel in Prague as, as it's your city. And he's definitely like making sure that what's a scam, what's not, like what's interesting to see, what not to do, how to act as a local. So you can definitely have a lot of like tips and tricks from him as well. So just check it out. It's different topics, from how to withdraw from ATM, or what ATM to withdraw money from, to where to go in Charles Bridge, or like the castle and so on. So that's just the last tip. And now we have a time again for questions, if there is any, or any last remarks from your side. Maybe I'll just say at the beginning, we've got some question in the chat from a GLM student that you still have troubles enrolling in MyPack to some of the courses. We know about it. I'm really sorry about that. We are still trying to figure out, like, it's some technical, as Anna said, technical detail. But don't worry, like, we're counting with you in those classes. So you'll definitely be enrolled. It's just a matter of time and us figuring or fighting with the system and figuring out what's wrong, what the system doesn't like. But yeah, but that's just for all of you to know or to hear about it. And now, yeah, your time for your questions.
I have a question. So regarding the vaccination booster, you said it expires after 6 months. What if my second dose expires like near the end of the trip? Why do you think by that point, like I'll be in the clear and I don't have to worry about getting a booster since I will have already gotten the European pass or whatever?
I mean, it's a good question. The thing is that like the European pass also copies the dates from your vaccination card. So if it says that you've got your dose on some date, and if happens that like in here it expires also after 6 months, it will mean that like you will have your vaccination card expired or vaccination proof basically. So if there is any chance, and I mean, if it's possible to do it, I would go for a booster just when you are in the US, because it might be much difficult and not even recognized back in US if you have a booster here. And it might be difficult to get it here because your original one were somewhere else in like a different country. I'm not saying impossible. I mean, just like from the, let's say, bureaucratic point of view, it might be a hassle for you to, you know, then get it recognized back in US if you get it here and vice versa.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
Yeah, but again, like as these are kind of, you know, still ongoing, let's say, topics, and the government's change it like over time right now, as the situation is also changing a little bit with the Omicron variant now, and like most governments here in Europe are trying to be more careful about it so it doesn't get spread as the Delta version, for example. It's still changing, and we might check on it and like let you know, again, maybe after New Year and so on. But what Kim says is valid. Like if you can go for a booster now while you're at home, it might be like the safest option for you to don't have any troubles while in Prague or Europe in general.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question. Is
Go
it
for it.
to like bring 2 bags overseas, and then when the program ends, if I want to travel around afterwards, send one of my bags back to the States, like through either like an airline or like maybe like FedEx or something? You guys know if anyone's like done that in the past?
I mean, it's possible for sure. It's very expensive. And when I say very, very, if you can, maybe you can, I don't know, we usually offer to students to an option to store it here in Prague and basically do some of their travel after the program ends, let's say, and then pick up the bag and then go home if you want. And just something you should be aware, as I think you're a GLM student, that you can be in Europe only for 90 days. And as the program kind of covers most or majority of the time, you should plan your travel that they are still like within those 90 days. But again, like you can check on those prices, like how much it costs and if it's worth it for you. Or at the beginning of your stay here, we can like look more into it. I mean, some students might have done it before, but as I say, like, yeah, it's very expensive. So you might just think what to say, because like as the package might be heavy or the luggage, you pay for weight and also like the dimension. So yeah, I would not personally recommend it because you're spending money like unnecessarily, honestly. So, but up to you. For sure, it's possible. We can assist you.
Sweet, thank you.
And maybe while we're waiting for another question, if there'll be any, there was another remark regarding the plugs, the electrical plugs. I know we've covered it last time, or like we've talked about it, that they are like a little different with different voltage. But please make sure you go back maybe on those, presentations and our previous pre-departures to double check that if you bring any, chargers and so on, like they are, or you have an adapter for it, that you can use it here in our plugs, because it might cause an issue, and or be aware that you have something different and that you need to buy an adapter in here.
So 2 minutes left, guys. Any last questions for us while we're live? And keep in mind too, you can still email us if you think of stuff later. But for live questions, this is your last chance for a little while.
I know that it says like on like the packing list and stuff to make sure you have copies of like all your documents here and like on your person. What specific documents do those mean? I mean like your passport and your visa, but like anything else?
Sorry,
Go
Alex,
ahead.
you want to go ahead, or
I was
you
just
want
going
me
to
to
say,
answer?
yeah, passport visa is the main thing, and then your Geo Blue card. Probably, what else would you say, Eva? That
Maybe copy of your
Locator
credit
form?
card, just in case, you know, that you lose like some of like those important documents that you know you might need and might be difficult to replace, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, you like basically, as Alex said, passport and visa is the most important. Maybe at this point I would add the copy of a CDC vaccination card,
Yeah.
because if you lose that, it's like very difficult to replace it. I would say nearly impossible. Before you have the EU COVID pass for sure. But these types of documents. And just talking about the visas, guys, for the classic program, please make sure you communicate with us. And once you receive your passport with the visa, like let us know ASAP. We need it for the residents. We need to know, you know, that you're kind of on the track, that like your visa's coming through. I've got several questions, and like that you're worried that you didn't heard from the embassy yet. It might be a good thing, because if the embassy don't email you, it means that everything with your application is fine and they're just processing it. Don't forget they have like 2 months, even sometimes over 2 months to by law deal with the application. So it means that once they're done, they'll let you know, they'll notify you directly via email, and usually then they send you the passport. But yeah, if you maybe, let's say after New Year, if you still don't hear from the embassy, please let us know. We may try to also check, you know, like where is the process stopping at, or like what's the status of your visa at that point, and, you know, try to poke a little the ministry or the embassy to deal with it. But please just like inform us, because it's very important.
Yeah, good reminder, Eva. With that, we're going to close for questions, but we just want to just, you know, if you do have questions, again, email us. One thing to keep in mind, though, is, you know, NC State University, we close for the holiday break as well. So we're going to be closing starting on Friday, December 24th. So that's next Friday. University reopens on January 3rd, Monday. So just keep in mind during that time, you know, the responses to emails from not just us, but your faculty and other administrative staff will be very limited, if at all, sometimes. So definitely, if you think of questions, try to get them in prior to our closure on the 24th, even earlier, because some people might not be around before then even. And then just bear with us. And when you get back, and if you have questions, there'll still be time for us to address those as well. So yeah, so again, this is recorded. We will send this out to you, as well as the slides, as we've done with previous sessions. We'll also post it into the student portal accounts, so you can access it there and share it with family or friends or whoever. So we want to thank you for taking the time today. Probably this is early because you're all on holiday break and enjoying your time to sleep in finally. So we want to thank you for coming, making the time, and being here today. We hope you're getting more and more excited about the trip. You will see Kim, Eva, and Anna, and the rest of the Prague staff in about a month. So you'll see them in person finally, and that's exciting. So yeah, let us know in the meantime if anything we can address, help you with, wrap things up. So, but thanks again. Thanks for your time today, and we hope you have a great rest of your holiday break.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.